Good morning. Welcome in. Glad you're here. December the 26th, 2024. We're going to be in Proverbs 26 this morning that coincides with that date, December the 26th. Proverbs 26 verse 1 says, "As snow in summer and rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool." Verse 2 has a note on it, so let's read the verse and then the note. It's like a flittering sparrow, like a flying swallow, so a curse without cause shall not alight. Now let's look at the note there. It says, inadequacy, a curse was, in antiquity, a curse was commonly believed to, in effect, be activated once it was uttered. The Bible teaches that power of a blessing or a curse depends on the power of the one behind it. Good advice. Verse 3, a whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. Verse 4 and 5 have a note. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. Now that note says a fool should be corrected so the person will not conclude that he or she is right. However, not all of a fool's comments deserve a reply. The wise must use discernment and discretion to know when to respond and when not to. It's good advice. Verse 6, he who sends a message by the hand of a fool cuts off his own feet and drinks violence. Like the legs of the lame, that hang limp is a proverb in the mouth of fools. Verse 8, like one who binds a stone in a sling is he who gives honor to a fool. And let's read the note on verse 8 there. It says, one who binds a stone in a sling is doing something counterproductive and potentially dangerous. Similarly, one who expects a fool to accomplish something honorable is hoping for the impossible. Giving a foolish person true responsibility is also likely to cause damage to those around him or her. So that is very true. Verse 9, like a thorn that goes into the hand of a drunkard is a proverb in the mouth of fools. Verse 10, the great God who formed everything gives the fool his hire and the transgressor his wages. Verse 11, as a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Verse 11 has a note, says a wise person does not repeat his or her mistakes and poor choices, but a fool does, just as a dog returns to eat its own vomit. Ooh. Verse 12. Do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. And there's a note on verse 12 says, conceit and pride are the basis for all other sins. If left unharnessed in the heart, a person's pride and self-sufficiency will play right into Satan's hands, bringing his or her downfall. Dangerous ground, dangerous ground. Verse 13, a lazy man says, there is a lion in the road, a fierce lion is in the streets. As a door turns on its hinges, so does the lazy man on his bed. The lazy man buries his hand in a bow. It wearies him to bring it back to his mouth. The lazy man is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who can answer sensibly. He who passes by and meddles, don't know what I did there, hold on, I highlighted one. He who passes by and meddles in a quarrel not his own is like one who takes a dog by the ears. I don't recommend that. That dog will get you. Verses 18 through 28 has a note. We'll read the verses and then we'll go back and check out that note. Verse 18, like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death, is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. Where there is no wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no talebearer, strife ceases. As charcoal is to burning coals and wood to fire, so is the contentious man to the kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are like tasty truffles, and they go down into the innermost body. Fervent lips with a wicked heart are like earthenware covered with silver dross. He who hates disguises it with his lips, excuse me, and lies up deceit within himself. When he speaks kindly, do not believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his heart is covered by deceit, his wickedness will be revealed before the assembly. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and he who rolls a stone will have it roll back on him. A lying tongue hates those who are crushed by it, and a flattering mouth works ruin. And then the note there says, let me find it. Careless words and deceitful words, both highlighted in this passage, produce strife and distrust even when they do not destroy a relationship. To say I was only joking does not reverse the damage that has been done. Deceit leaves a mark on the deceived one's heart. Flattery involves complimenting someone excessively in order to manipulate, or complimenting someone insincerely. Boy, stumbling all over the place this morning, but we still getting the Word of God in our hearts. So now I have a picture of this. It's talking about the silver dross of speech, verse 23 through 26. Let's go back up to verse 23, read those verses, and then we'll read this picture this. Verse 23, fervent lips with a wicked heart are like earthenware covered with silver dross. He who hates disguises it with his lips and lies up deceit within himself. When he speaks kindly, do not believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness will be revealed before the assembly. Now, that's the verses. Let's look at this picture, this passage or note. It says, this cluster of Proverbs deals with hypocritical speech, focusing on the stark contrast between what is heard and what is actually meant. The New King James Version reverses the order of the 2 lines in verse 23. Earthenware covered with silver dross is actually the first thing we come to. Silver dross is the sediment or scum poured off from liquid silver during its smelting process. Although the dross can cover a clay pot, producing a magnificent looking silver vessel, the beauty is a facade because the pot is not made of silver as it appears to be. The metaphor lays the foundation for the warning of these verses. Do not take what people say at face value. The writer especially cautions against befriending those who fervently flatter with their words in an attempt to hide their true motives. So, all good stuff. That wraps up Proverbs 26. Let's jump over to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 starting in verse 10. We're going to go through start in verse 10, go through verse 20, and we're going to get our armor on, y'all. So join me here. So finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints, and for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that in it I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. All right, y'all, we got the word of God in us. We have got our armor on. We're ready to face this day. Thank each and every one of y'all for clicking onto this video. I look forward to being back live with y'all soon. Challenge you guys to go be a blessing for someone else today. God bless y'all, and we will see you again tomorrow.